All right.
At the recent Osaka Kansai Expo, they didn't just show us a vision of the future, they grilled it. We're talking about the future of meat, and it's a future where steak is grown in a lab, not raised out on a farm. So picture this. You're walking through the expo hall, and you hear this sizzle. Then, this incredible savory aroma hits you. Everyone's buzzing, and one person says it smells just like their favorite barbecue joint. It's that unmistakable, mouth-watering scent of grilled beef. But here's the kicker. The source of that amazing smell, it isn't a traditional steak. It's something else entirely, which leads to a wild question. What if this meat was never actually part of a living, breathing animal? Let's get into it. That delicious aroma, that wasn't just lunch. That was the smell of the future. What people at that expo were getting a whiff of is a technology that's poised to totally change our relationship with food, with farming, and, with the very definition of meat itself. This is what's known as cultured meat. And let's be super clear here, this is not a plant-based alternative. It's not a veggie burger. This is real animal meat, with real muscle and fat, but it's grown directly from animal cells in a lab. Or, hey, one day, maybe even in your kitchen. No farms, no slaughterhouses, just meat. So how in the world is this even possible? I mean, how do you build a piece of meat without an animal? The whole process sounds like something straight out of science fiction, but it's a very real and pretty fascinating mix of biology and engineering. Okay, so it all starts by taking a tiny, totally harmless sample of cells from a live animal. These cells are then put in a nutrient-rich environment, kind of like a broth, where they multiply and grow into separate fibers of muscle, fat, and even blood vessels. But the real magic, the really cool part, happens next. Using a 3D bioprinter, scientists can layer these individual fibers together with unbelievable precision. This means they can literally design the meat, recreating that intricate marbling or sashi that makes a Wagyu steak so famous. And the vision for this technology? It goes way beyond the lab. The team behind this imagines a future where every home has a meat maker. Seriously, picture a kitchen appliance, maybe sitting right next to your microwave, that could print you a custom steak for dinner. You could even tailor it to your exact health needs or taste. We're talking about a fundamental shift from buying meat to making it right in your own kitchen. But this research isn't just about creating a cool, novel food for us to try. No, it's actually driven by a really pressing need to solve a genuine global crisis. And to get why this technology is so important, we really have to look at the numbers. By the year 2050, the United Nations projects the world's population is going to surge to nearly 10 billion people. Feeding that many mouths, especially with high-quality protein, is a monumental challenge. I mean, our current system is already straining. And this is exactly where cultured meat enters the picture. It's being positioned as a potential solution on so many different fronts. First, it could help solve that looming protein crisis. Second, it could dramatically slash the environmental footprint of meat production. Livestock is a huge source of greenhouse gases and uses insane amounts of land and water. And of course, it offers a way to produce meat without having to slaughter billions of animals every day. But while the promise is absolutely huge, the path from the lab to our dinner plates is, well, it's not simple. It's become a global race to the plate, and it is filled with some major hurdles in tech, cost, and just plain public acceptance. One of the biggest roadblocks right now is the regulatory gap between countries. On one hand, you have places like Singapore and the United States where cultured meat has already been approved for sale. You can actually go into some restaurants or even grocery stores and buy it today. But then you look at Japan, where this incredible research is being showcased, and there are no safety rules in place yet. That's why the expo could only have a scent event. Tasting it isn't even allowed. It's a real race, and different countries are moving at very different speeds. So what about the taste? I mean, that's the big question, right? Well, early sensory tests in Japan have been promising, but also really honest. One tester noted that while the flavor was still a little faint, the texture was remarkably meat-like. You could feel that characteristic chew as the muscle fibers broke down. It just shows that the tech is getting so close, but it still needs a little fine-tuning to really nail that perfect flavor. And beyond taste and regulations, there is the elephant in the room, the price. Right now, it's incredibly expensive to make. The research team is shooting for a price of about 4,500 Japanese yen for 100 grams. That's roughly $30 for just under a quarter pound of meat. Their goal is to hit that price point by 2030, which would make it a premium product, but at least an accessible one. Okay, so far we've talked all about food, but the story of this technology has a surprising second act, a purpose with origins that lie not in a kitchen, but in a hospital. This is where the story gets truly incredible. So you might be thinking this is all about creating a dream food, right? A more sustainable, more ethical steak for the future. But what if I told you that wasn't the original goal at all? It turns out this whole project began with a much, much bigger ambition: to completely revolutionize medicine. The quest to build the perfect steak was actually just a stepping stone toward a much greater goal of building and repairing the human body. That same 3D bioprinting technique used to layer muscle and fat for a steak can be used for human cells. One huge application is personalized cancer treatment. Think about it. Doctors can grow a patient's own tumor outside their body and then test different anti-cancer drugs on it to see which one works best without subjecting the patient to endless trial and error. Another game-changing area is regenerative medicine. The tech is being used to create custom fatty tissue, complete with blood vessels, for breast reconstruction after surgery, offering a potentially much safer and more natural alternative to implants. And that brings us to the final thought here. The very same technology that was showcased as the future of food is already on its way to becoming the future of medicine. So the real question isn't just whether we'll be 3D printing our dinner one day. It's bigger. It's how a technology that was designed to save and rebuild human lives might also just end up changing what's on our plates. Now that is a powerful idea to chew on.